Go ahead.
Renee Kirkrow.
Tammy Pennington.
Amy Rugg.
Ann Clark.
John Kepler.
Anybody else?
Lori Palanka. I gave it once before. Don't know.
Okay, thank you, Lori.
Tarek Brown is here.
Okay. So I have Dawn, Renee, Tammy, Amy, Ann. I'm sorry I didn't catch, I got Kepler, the last name. I didn't get the first name.
That's Dawn Kepler.
Oh, I got you, Dawn. Okay. And then Lori
Thanks.
Palanka. Yeah, Lori and Tarek. Anybody else that I missed?
Kim Hughes, APS. And Joy Riley, APS, Calhoun County.
Excellent. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Joy. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of information about the Referral Network Pilot Project. What it is that it is a project of Elder Law of Michigan and the Area Agencies on Aging 3A and 3B. Element has received funding from the state of Michigan to conduct this project. It's bigger in scope than just this referral network. But just bringing you to this narrow piece of it, the referral network allows individuals who provide adult services to make electronic referrals by having a searchable database, matching the adults to the services that are being provided and offered. And once that referral is made to an agency that is also in the referral network, they can either accept it or reject it. And then they could also provide reasons for the acceptance or rejection. Each agency creates its own profile in this network. That means that you just not only describe where you're located, but it's really the services that you provide with some level of detail that includes what conditions or eligibility requirements must be met for that service to be provided to an individual. And that could be as complex as income requirements and household number, or it could be as simple as whether you reside in a county or not. And so the database allows for that level of search, or at least that level of information to be shared, improving the quality of referrals. So you're not referring someone to for services that they absolutely would not be able to receive. So that being said, that's the overarching
Larissa, it sounds like we're on hold with somebody.
Yeah, everybody keep a note. Yeah, it could be that someone put us on hold. So I think that's Senior Services. I'll try to email the woman from Senior Services, see if she could take us off hold.
I've muted her.
He's muted her. It's special powers of the web conference. So that's the I'm not going to spend any more time on the kind of overarching feel of it. Once you start seeing the system, you'll have a better sense of what the system does. This is a pilot. There's 20-plus agencies in Berry, Calhoun, and Kalamazoo County that have agreed to be part of this pilot. The reason you're on this call is because you belong to one of those agencies. There'll be some level of feedback that we'll be asking you to provide over the next several months, July and August mostly, and it'll be done electronically and telephonically. We'll be asking you to make referrals using this system to those organizations within the network and provide us feedback on how it's operating and how we can improve the system. So there'll be some challenges. We hope you help us through those challenges so we could have the best possible product for agencies such as yourself in the future. I'm going to turn things over to Kia. He is with ardentCause, and he's been the senior developer on this project since the very beginning. and he's going to take you through the functionalities, and we'll pause at each point in time to answer your questions. Without further ado, Kia.
Connie, right?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I just wanted to give everyone an opportunity if you have any questions on anything Larissa had just said before we move forward with the demonstration of the tool and the training.
Hey, I just got here. Could you give me a quick version? This is Connie.
Hi, Connie. Essentially, we're conducting a training on the referral network pilot system. And so it is a system that allows you to make and receive referrals electronically.
Right.
And so you're going to be making it to those agencies within this pilot group. And there's 20-plus agencies in Barrie, Calhoun, and Kalamazoo.
Okay,
so Kia's going to give you a review of it. Are you logged into the webinar?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, is there anybody who does not see my screen? Currently, you should only see Connect's logo at the top and maybe some buttons, my cursor moving across the screen, and then it says Welcome to Agency Referral System. And mostly a black screen, a little bit of white at the top. Does anybody not see that? Okay, I am going to unmute. I muted a user earlier, and they're not allowed to ask any questions when I mute them, so I'm going to unmute them just to see if they put us off hold. Wait, where did they go? There they are. Hi, Senior Services. I've unmuted you. It sounds like you've put us off hold, so that's good. Okay, I'm going to go through the usage of the system. I'm going to show you how you will use the system. It seems like someone jumped in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you your everyday usage of the system, and I'm also going to show you some more of administrative stuff. Everybody who is a user during this pilot phase will be an administrator. So everyone should know the administrator tasks. They're fairly simple, but it does require just knowing how the system works first. So that's where I will start. I'm going to take you through creating a referral, and then I'm going to show you how to manage referrals that you have received, manage rejected referrals. That means referrals that you have made that an agency has rejected, and then I'll show you the other pages that build all that. I will stop after every section for questions. So if you have a question, please hold on to it and wait for me to cue you to ask questions. And so if anyone's talking, they will, let me see if I wonder if there's a way. No, there's not. So obviously if anyone interrupts me or doesn't understand anything as we're going, I will try my best to answer your question, but I would prefer if you could hold off on the questions until the section is over, and then it'll be interactive. So if I move past something, don't worry, I can get back to it to answer your question. Okay, so I'm going to start with creating a referral from scratch. So when you first log into the system, you'll be shown the Find Services screen, and that would look like this. So when you're using this application from a mobile device or a tablet, you will see a very similar interface. It will be responsive to fit on your screen, but for webinar purposes, I'm going to be showing you on a desktop. The layout of everything changes, but the flow is the same. So I'm going to start with searching for a service by typing in the name of the service.
As Kia's typing, this is a service that perhaps your agency does not provide, but someone's asking for it, so you want to find the agency that performs it.
Kia, this is Lori. I'm sorry. I thought I was in the same place, but my computer keeps saying reconnecting to the server. Okay, never mind. It just popped up finally.
Okay, can you see my screen's mostly white? In the middle?
It popped up with search for services, and then it went black again. So I don't know what's going on.
Lori, I think that might be on your end. I don't know if you could see is there any place you could find a faster connection? That might be what's happening.
No, there's really not, but it just
thing
keeps coming and going for some reason, but I'm on the right place right now, hopefully. It just...
Perhaps if you, just a suggestion, close any other tabs that you have open that might be taking up your
All right,
internet.
that could be. I do have some things open. I'll try doing that.
Your email. Also, if it's continuing to give you issues, you could close it altogether and try and go back into it.
Okay.
Okay. Is anyone else having issues connecting to the webinar? We'll post this webinar so everyone can, when the whole thing is being recorded, so when it's done, we'll send you a link to being able to access that online and so you can follow anything
great.
that you Okay. Okay, so all I've done so far is use the search fields on the left to search for transportation. You can further define your search criteria by selecting a county from the drop-down, typing in a zip code. You can when you type in a zip code, it'll give you results based on proximity, and then also you can type in eligibility information. I'm going to leave all those blank, and instead I'm just going to type in, actually I will even transport, or trans with a P, and I'm not going to complete the word. I'm just going to click go, and you can see that I've seen it pops back with several different services that have transportation. So if I wanted senior services, senior ride program, you get a good amount of information right here. So if you wanted to pick up the phone right away and call, and maybe there's other eligibility information that you need to ask your client, you can do that. You can also send the referral directly to senior services. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send my referral to senior services, and what happened now is this is kind of like what you would see on Amazon where you have a shopping cart. So now that I have something in my selected services, it's in my shopping cart or my folder. You can see there's a folder up here. Anytime you click this folder, any of the services that you have selected will always be in here until you submit the selection. So far I have not submitted. I've only picked one. I'm going to pick some other services. Perhaps my client needs financial services. So what I will do is use the categories on the center here. I deleted transportation from here, and now I'm going to use the categories to search for a different service. So my client needs financial services. They need credit counseling. Now I'm going to scroll down, and there is no credit counseling in the system. So let me see if we have any tax aid programs.
What that means is that of the network organizations currently that are part of the network in the pilot, we don't have, and if all the profiles are still being brought up to date, but essentially what that means within the pilot group, we don't have someone who's providing credit counseling.
Yes, and all the services that are provided are managed by, the services that your agency is providing are managed by your administrators at your agency, and I'll get into that later in the webinar. So, okay, so what I've done is I've selected a category at the top, and then I've selected a subcategory, and these are only 6 of the categories. You can scroll through. There are several other categories of services in the system. Depending on what you pick, you'll obviously have different subcategories below. Currently, I am on financial, and I selected AARP tax aid programs. And if I scroll down, I'm going to see there's 2 services I can choose from, senior services and Portage Senior Center. Both have services that I can select. So I add Portage, and I already have one for senior services. Now I'm going to add one more, the abuse. I don't think we have anything in here. So again, we only have one agency that has abuse service, and that's Green Gables Haven. I'm going to add that to my list. And now you notice that I have 3 services with me. So now I'm going to, it sounds to me like these are the services that my client needs, so I'm going to check out. So I can either click Create Referral here, or if I'm on a different part of the system, I can always go back to my referrals by clicking the folder at the top. And you'll see here are my services that I have selected, and now I need to select a client. So let me see if my client's in the system. I'm going to type in Smith and do a search. So now there's 3 clients in the system that have the last name of Smith, and I wanted Sally Smith, or I'm sitting with Sally Smith, so that's the young lady who needs the services. This checkbox down here is an agreement that needs to be made between you and your client that they are allowing you to share their information with another agency. Because what's going to happen is their whole profile will be sent to the 3 agencies that I have selected up top to be able to help them with these services.
And by profile, we don't really have anything more than name, address, and phone number, really. And so that's contact information more than anything else.
Yeah, and we'll go through adding a client, so you'll see that in more detail.
I should add that I understand that in certain circumstances, and we're working with those agencies that have some challenges with Green Gables might be one where there's some challenges in following up, et cetera, and some legal services. And we're working to accommodate unique circumstances where the agency requires that the individual contact them directly. We're working on protocols to address that.
Okay, so I have 3 services selected, just to recap, and now I'm trying to check out. So I've searched for my client. I found my client here. I've accepted this agreement, and I'm going to submit my referral. If all goes well, you would not see the referral button if you don't have a client selected. So now at the top I see your referral has been submitted. Success. Yay, Sally Smith has these 3 referrals. So great. So now these 3 agencies now have Sally Smith, a referral for Sally Smith waiting for them in their referral queue. So I'm going to pause right there and ask if there's any questions so far on anything that we have covered.
This is Tammy. Is there a reason that you put transportation typed or trans into your search engine rather than going to the transportation button?
Yes. At any time you can use keywords to do a search or search directly for services or service categories. You can even search for an agency's name, and you'll be able to see all the services that agency provides. So I typed in just part of the word transportation, and I would get the same results whether I clicked the category of transportation and further define my search criteria by clicking one of the subcategories, or I can just type in transportation up here and define these search fields. There's just 2 different ways to get to the same thing.
And Tammy, so we worked with Bonnie and Lori to even create other words that might not be obvious, that might be synonymous with some of the services that you provide. So even if we don't say food or we said food bank or pantry or something like that, those words should still trigger all the food pantries. So if we just typed in pantry, I don't know, can you type in pantry for us?
Sure. We have no food pantry. So type in food, it comes back.
So
Okay.
we're trying to capture as many different kind of keywords as we possibly can, and that the system will get better with that too.
Okay, thank you.
My question is there, when, like right now with the food pulled up, there's nothing on there that kind of specifies the service delivery area that particular referral covers. So for example, I work for Berry County Mental Health. I might come up as a referral under behavioral health, but I'm limited to the scope that I can serve.
Yeah, there are eligibility fields that have unfortunately not been defined for the services that you're seeing on the screen.
Okay.
I will later in this session, I will show you how you can define your eligibility requirements when you're creating your services.
Yeah.
Any eligibility information that you add will be shown on the search results.
So that's the process that we were going through with the tables that were distributed to folks. We were asking for eligibility requirements, And we're still updating the system to include those eligibility requirements. But what that is that there will be a box that tells you, that gives you that information.
And we'll get to that. And so as soon as you are provided a login, you can go through your services and add any eligibility information.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
This is Ann Clark. Is there any way to add notes to the referral?
You mean so notes that would appear on the screen?
Right. So that when the referral goes over, they'll understand more about.
You're submitting the referral. That is actually a very good request. That was not part of the initial requirements. You can add notes to send. I see what you're saying. There are other parts of the system when you're sending stuff to an agency where you can add notes. We did not see that it would be prudent for this portion of the system. However, we may come back to that. That's a really good suggestion, actually.
We've had a couple of different requests for notes in different places. For instance,
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Kia will get there momentarily. But we are taking all your suggestions are being noted, and hopefully we'll have a 2.0 version that includes some more rigor in the system.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Any other questions?
Okay, so let me move on to managing my referral queue. So what we've done so far is we created 3 referrals and sent them off for a particular client to 3 different agencies. So you primarily will be creating referrals for your clients and managing your referral queue. What I mean by managing your referral queue is incoming referrals that are new to you or rejected referrals. So that's this button up here at the very top that says Referral Queue. And I'm going to click it, and you'll see at the top I have some notifications on my screen right now that says that I have my service profile has not been updated in 24 days. My agency profile has not been updated in 35 days. There would be other indicators for these type of alerts, but we have them turned off right now just so we don't flood everyone's email boxes with false alerts. So those will be turned on when everyone is provided with their logins, and they'll be very obvious as to what they are. But I'm just going to ignore those for now and move on to managing my queue here. So the first thing you'll see are return referrals at the very top, and you'll see that there's 3 return referrals. Looks like I made a referral for Christopher Lewis, and they've come back, or I've made 3 different referrals for Christopher Lewis, and they've come back to me. Before I take any action on those, I'm going to go further down and look at my new referrals. So these are new referrals that I've created these are new referrals that have been created by other agencies and sent to me. So it might be a little confusing that it says referred by Kia Falahi. That's actually me, and I was signed into a different system. Right now I'm actually signed in as a different agency just to demonstrate the features. So don't worry about that. But that would be the name of the staff person who was using the system and sitting down with the client and submitted the referral to you. So if I go further down, I can see open referrals. Now, open referrals are referrals that I have accepted, and I can add further action on by changing the status. So they'll be added to this grid once I accept them up here. They're added to this grid down here, and you can click on any of these items, and you'll see the referrals details page, and we'll get into that later. So at the very top, let's start with managing our returned or rejected referrals. And it looks like I sent out this referral for Christopher Lewis. It was for Personal Emergency Response System. And let's see why there would be a reject reason. When I did the rejection, I was moving pretty fast. I didn't add one. But that's kind of where your question came in. I forgot who asked the question. Was it Connie? When you're rejecting a referral, you are able to write some information as to why you are rejecting the referral. You pick from a standard set of choices, and you can also put in some notes, and those notes would be shown here. But I didn't do that, which unfortunately I didn't do that, but they would be seen here. So when a referral is rejected, I have 2 options. I can retry, or I can close. Now when I click close, just to show you, this thing pops open and I can add some actions right in here. I can close, and there's a series of closed reasons. So one of my closed reasons is a new referral. A new referral has been submitted to a different agency, or the new referral was submitted to the same agency, referral created by mistake, or other. Regardless of my choices, I can type in notes here, and those notes will always be saved to that particular referral. However, the chain for this referral is now closed. So what I mean by new referral submitted to the same agency is this action right here. I can click retry, and that's what I'm going to do. It's not going to affect this rejected referral from my referral queue, but what the retry button will do is it will put that referral back into my folder, and I can create additional actions on it. So this is as if I went through and created that particular, added that service and added that client again. It's in my queue. So if I wanted to send it to the same agency, all I have to do is click this button and submit the referral. But however, they rejected it, and depending on their reject reasons, I may not want to do that. Perhaps they were over capacity, so the better option would be to X this referral off the screen and go to find services, and I'll search for a different similar referral, similar service at a different agency and submit it that way. And then perhaps someone else can help my client. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll go back to the referral queue, and I will close this. This is the same referral. I'm going to close it, and I will say new referral submitted to different agency. I will say that I did it, and I'm going to submit closed. Now, if you notice, now that particular return referral is off my screen. And I can do the same thing for the other two. Let me move down and now address my new referrals. So for new referrals, the process is very similar. I can accept new referrals or I can reject referrals. Just like the rejected referrals, I can retry or close. For the new referrals, I can accept or reject. Accepting is a very simple process. It will take them off your new referral, and that referral is now in my open referrals. Whoops. So new referrals, I can also reject them. So if I say, so I got a referral for John Snow, hobby and craft and sports activities. Well, we don't provide that service. So I'm going to reject it, and I'm going to say, not a service we offer. Now, when I say that,
Make a suggestion.
You can.
This is a place where you can make a suggestion if you are aware of perhaps some other agencies that do that, or whatever other notes you want to make.
Sure. Or you can say, so the reason that referral was submitted to my agency is because I have it under my services list. So if I'm responding with not a service we offer, then I might want to go check my services list and remove that item or update it because maybe the information was inaccurate. So I'm going to tell the staff member who referred this service to me and say, this must have been added by mistake. So I said, this must have been a service added by mistake. I will update my service list. And then I'm going to submit my rejection. And what's going to happen now is that staff member or that agency who created that service, who referred that service to me, will get notified there is now a new rejection, and they will see why. So they would now go through that same process that we did to either retry or close that referral for particular reasons. So now that brings us to open referrals. So you will accept referrals, and then once you accept referrals, you get additional information on the client whom you can then contact and schedule an appointment with. And once you do that, you will have additional actions. You want to update the status to get the referral out of your open referrals list. Otherwise, this list will just keep growing and growing every time you accept referrals. So you can click into here, and I will see, so what I did is I clicked Becky Johnson, and I will see my referral details, and I can update the status right here. There's information about Becky Johnson. All of her client information will be listed here in the service that she was referred to. I can type in additional notes, and there's also a history of other referrals down here. So I'm just going to cancel out that will make more sense when you're using the system and you've actually provided the service. Then that's where you go to say what you did and close it out. There's not a lot of information, but it's just enough to let us and Elm know that the services are being followed through successfully and the system is working, it's doing its purpose. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there and just review everything that I've done. So all I did so far in this section was I went to my referral queue at the top of the page. I showed you how to manage returned referrals. You can retry or close, and there's different actions with both. I showed you how to manage new referrals. You can accept them or reject them. And I also showed you how to manage your open referrals. So I will stop for questions if we have any in this section.
This is Connie, and I'm wondering on those new referrals and returned referrals, is there also going to be a phone number down there to reach those people?
You don't see the phone number until you accept the client. The idea is if it makes sense for us to add the phone number there for you to know if you're going to accept this referral or not, then we can definitely do that. But currently the idea is this will give you enough information to accept or reject, and then once you accept, then you get the full client profile or anything, you get everything that was added by the other staff member at the other agency.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is these open referrals, if I click into the open referrals, you'll see the full profile. Does that make sense?
And the full profile, the only additional piece of information you'll have is really the phone number for contact. If it's a complicated program that has a variety of eligibility requirements, the referring agency is aware of those general requirements if you keep your services up to date and describe what those are. But they're not doing a pre-screen for you.
Gotcha.
So just want to be clear on that.
Okay.
That they're aware of it, and they were hoping that gives them enough information so that they make informed referrals and have an idea of the criteria, but they're not doing a pre-screen, so they're not collecting a ton of information.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions on this section, on the referral queue?
So this is Renee. If I log into my referral queue, I'm going to immediately see referrals to me and referrals that have been rejected. Is it going to show up if a referral has been accepted?
You will not see if a referral has been accepted in the referral queue.
Okay.
However, you can look up a client that you've added to the system at any time and see their current status, and you can see their full referral history.
Okay.
So if that's something that is, if that's something that you seek a lot more often, then let us know. We can definitely add it, maybe an easier view of that.
On the other hand, Renee, just so you know, there are automatic reminders that are occurring for the agency where you sent that referral that are saying you haven't accepted or rejected this referral. Please remember to do so. Have you done so? And so there's a calendar of kind of reminders that's happening automatically, which would kind of move the process along too.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually that reminds me also, so the return referrals can be returned for a few different reasons. One of the reasons, or several of the reasons could be the staff member logs in, they see a new referral, and they say, I'm going to reject, and these reasons, but there could be other reasons. There's also a time where the referral will automatically become rejected if it has been ignored by the agency it was referred to for long enough. So we have a trigger in there to say, I don't remember the exact days, but if the system, and I know we did something special for the pilot, then maybe we can extend that. But so what basically that means is if I submit a referral and that agency is inactive or they've just ignored it and they haven't taken any action on it, the system will eventually bounce it back to me and say, this referral is rejected because they have ignored it for X amount of days.
Other questions? This is the heart of the system, so.
Okay, and we can come back if anyone thinks of anything later. So I'm going to move on to the next section, and I'm going to show you how to manage your profile and all your agency, service, and staff information. So that is under the admin menu button at the top. You notice if I hover over, there's other options underneath. I'm going to start with agency info, and you'll see that I'm logged in as senior services, and this is my agency profile. My agency profile does not contain any information regarding services. It just has my main location address, and this is an agency name that will show up on the search results. None of this other information will show up in the search results. I can, however, turn all of my services off. I can make my whole agency inactive in the system. What that does, it removes all of your services that your agency provides from showing up in any search queue. You can still log in to manage referral queue, but you will stop receiving any new referrals. You can create making referrals, and you can log in and change that status at any time. But this is again where you would turn on and off your agency from participating in the system. And so this is other information on here. You can also upload your agency logo, and that'll show up on your agency. It'll show up when you log in, actually. So that's your agency profile, and I'm going to now go to, I can add a client from here or see or look up other clients, but I'm going to go to my staff information first. So next is staff, and you'll see that I am currently logged in as Larissa.
Hi, Tarek. We're working together now.
I see that.
And another staff member to the system is Tarek. So the reason I'm showing you this portion of the system before I show you services is because when you are defining a service, you need to assign a staff member as the contact person for that service. So even if the staff member will not be logging in to use the system, their contact information will need to show up in the search results when other agencies are searching to be able to find their phone number and know who to call. So they don't ever have to log in, but they do have to exist on the staff page. So you'll see that Larissa and Tarek are the two staff members, and now I'm going to go to my services. So you can see that there's over 8 pages of services, and on each page I'm showing 5 records. I can change how many records I'm showing right here if you want to see a bigger glimpse. But currently this is fine, and you'll see that these are the services that I offer. They're under this category. Every service has an address assigned to it and a primary contact. So let me click the tax aid programs to show you a little more detail on that. And now here I'm in my service profile. I'm in my service details page. So the agency address is very different than the service address. The service address is what will geographically be basically the location when you're searching. So when I search and I type in a zip code, then this address information will be how that's defined by the system to say this is how far away it is. It's not the address for the agency. Each service has its own address. So if I go through, and you can also define your service category. There is a whole list of categories here, and depending on which category you pick, you have different service types. So the service types will be further defined based on your category, and each service type and each service category all have a whole list of search terms and keywords that power the search engine. So you make sure you click the correct one, and there's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of logic basically in the system to help people find that service. Next down, you select the counties that you provide services in. You can provide your services in more than one county. So I removed Kalamazoo, and this is how you add them. The ones on the right side are added. The ones on the left are potential selections. I'm going to add Kalamazoo back on there because that's what it was. When you reject a referral, and you reject it because you are over capacity, your service will automatically be updated to overcapacity. You will be provided with a notification on your screen to say, your service will now be set to overcapacity. What that means is it's basically a trigger for the system to remove this particular service from any search criteria.
And what by overcapacity? It could be that the funding has run out. It could be that if it's a utility assistance, the funding is no longer available in certain months of the year, and you don't want to keep getting referrals for that. It could be that it is that at this point you've served the maximum number. And so that's something for us to really be mindful of, that we don't want referrals for services that are no longer available. It's very different than, if the funding ran out completely and you don't expect it the next year, it should be a service you delete, as opposed to it's funding that is active for 9 months out of the year, but you don't have any additional funding for the remainder of the year. That's different. That's probably your overcapacity. So you just want you to think about that.
Right. Thanks, Larissa. So the quickest way to turn the service off from the search results when other agencies are looking to refer clients to you is by changing that service's capacity. So you can still log in and manage it, and you can always set it back to having capacity again. So the next down, I'm sorry, I meant overcapacity is no, we are not overcapacity. So in next down are the eligibility information. So logic in the system is for the veteran status and age, and you can also type in additional eligibility notes. This information would display on the search results when a different agency is searching, but I don't think any of the services currently in the system have this defined. So again, when you first log in,
we're collecting that, and so there'll be some level of generic descriptions that you've provided us that we're including. You'll always have the opportunity to edit it and add more detail. We've broken out the veteran status and age because we found those to be two kind of most critical pieces. And really, service county is also, you could consider that almost an eligibility requirement based on the counties that you serve.
Yeah, but anything in addition to that you can just type in the notes, and the staff member making the referral would see those notes. So I mentioned before that you have to assign a contact as the primary contact. So you notice that if I click primary contact, I have options to add Larissa and Torek as the primary contact, and what that means is that contact name and phone number will be displayed in the search results.
And the email will be the one that's used to send the referral to.
And then, so then you can also type in additional service description information, which will also show up in the, this will only show up in the search results when searching for a referral. So I'm going to cancel any changes I may have made there. And now I'm taken back to the previous page that I was on. So I can add services. So what we've done so far in the admin section, we showed you your agency information, staff information, and services. So you can easily add a staff member or service through there's this link here, or you can go to the service page, and there's a button to add new right here. You can also remove any services this way. But I suggest not removing the service until it has been inactive for quite some time. Perhaps even in the pilot, you would only remove services that you absolutely never provided. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to manage your clients. So when you go to your, so what I've done is under admin, you can click clients, and it's a very similar grid we've seen on other screens. We have 3 pages of clients here. I'm seeing 5 records per page. I can show more if I want, and it's pretty seamless the way that happens. So these are clients that I've created, and I can click the client. So you can search I guess before I click client, I want to show you how this, you can use the arrows at the top to change the ordering of the table. You can add a new client at the bottom, or you can click on a client to see all their history. So I'm going to click John Snow. And so when I go into John Snow, I can see their full client details, and I can scroll down and see their full referral history. So these are all the referrals that have been made for this client. They have either been made by me or, they have been made by me. You can see that right here. I'm actually logged in as Larissa, so you can see that you'll see referrals created for this client by other staff members. And you can even click further in just if you want to see the full history
One of our friendly staff members will be right with you in just a moment.
Oh. Someone put us on hold again. Give me 1 second. All right, I muted them. Okay, so where was I? So we're on the client page, and I'm showing you the client referral history. I can click further in, and which I just did. I clicked that one, and this shows you the information. This is a screen that we've seen before when we were in our open referrals, and we clicked over here.
Could you go back to the previous page real quick?
I think this is the page I was on. So I'm looking at the list of clients, and I'm showing about 20 clients on the screen right now.
But you were on John Doe, showed that.
Oh, was I on?
Yeah, on John Doe.
John Snow.
John Snow. The date of birth, is that the typical format that we're going to see the date of birth in? Because it's in day, month, year.
Oh. Is that true? Yes, it is in day, month, year. Wow, it's something I didn't.
We'll make a note of it.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
Good catch.
Yeah, we're in Europe. No.
Apparently.
I don't remember the date of birth, but wow, it's something that when you work so closely to the system, certain things you don't see. I'm sorry about that. We will update that. Good eye. Also, so on the client, when you're creating a client, let's go through creating a client. So this is the client details page. It'll look when I'm creating a new client. So this is a brand new client, and you can see there's placeholder text. There's nothing in those, so I'm going to type in Edward phone. Address 1111. I'm home, and the city is Detroit. So you kind of get the idea of how this works. And so I can select whether they're a veteran, and what happens is if I select that they are if they are not a veteran and I am referring them to a service that requires them to be a veteran, the system will not allow me to do that, and it'll tell you why. So I don't think we have any people in the system that have been defined as veteran or not. And preferred radius, again, is based on the search radius. If you have the client already selected in your folder up top, then when you are searching for a service, it'll automatically search by a certain radius. So this is basically, if you know your client and you ask and you know that they're not willing to drive or they're not able to drive more than 5 or 10 miles for a service, then this is how you define your search radius. You can put it in right there. It'll save you from typing again later. So date of birth, again, we'll update that. We have a male. Address 2 is for suite information or any additional, if they're in an apartment or anything like that. For the pilot, we're only in Michigan, so you can only select Michigan, and there's only a subset of counties that you can search from, and I think this is even more counties than
Wayne.
I'll do Wayne because I had Detroit as my city. I'm going to pick Wayne County. Household size, this is for federal poverty information. My household size is 14, and our income is $1,000. Obviously, we need some services. So this client has no referral history, obviously, because they're not in the system yet. So when I click Save, it's going to show me my clients. and now I can find my clients. There's my Edward Jones. There's my client who I just added. And also when I'm searching for services, I can now search for Edward Jones and add him to my folder. Okay, so far I'm just going to do a review of what I did. We've looked at the agency profile. I've shown you how to add and edit staff members. I've shown you how to add and edit services. And I've also shown you how to add and manage client information. So do we have any questions there?
This is Ann. For that, on the agency side, the overcapacity, so what if there's a wait list? So it's not necessarily that you've ran out, but don't you want the referring agency to know that, yes, we take that referral, but there is a wait?
That is a good point. So I guess we'll have to think about that a little bit more, how that would work, because if the wait list is fairly short, then you're okay with leaving them in your referral queue and then accepting them later.
It could be that we need to find a waitlist function. So this is part of the real benefit, actually, of this is that it could be that we need to develop that for 2.0, the next generation of the pilot, because what it allows us to do is really quantify waitlists across the board and just identify how long it takes from a referral to actual service provision. So at the moment, I think that leaving it in the referral queue is probably the only thing we have. We'll need to talk about that for Generation 2.0.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good one, because we could do a couple different things to notify, for instance, the staff member making the referral to say, hey, you can make this referral, but ask the client if it's okay if they pop up on the wait list, and that would be kind of an automated thing. But that's definitely a good idea. We'll definitely add it to the list to talk about in the future.
And can I ask you, do you maintain a wait list then within your own agency?
Well, we do not, but I know the area agency does, and senior services for the waiver program.
Yeah.
And for other programs. So if I was referring to them, if there's like a 3 to 4 month wait, I would want to, let the client know that on the onset.
I think what it's going to look like, Ann, is you make the referral, they accept it, they contact the client and say, we've accepted your referral, but you're on a wait list, and that's your status. I think that's really, they're accepting the referral, but they're putting it for the purpose of putting it on the list. Does that make sense?
Okay, say that one more time, please.
I think that the referring agency, let's say if it's the area agency on aging, and I might ask Lori to chime in on this, I think they would accept the referral because they provide that service, but they would notify you that this person is going to be accepted, but they're going to be put on a wait list. And it's then really their obligation to let the older adult know that they're on a wait list. So it's really kind of no different than it would be in other circumstances where you make a referral, AAA puts them on the wait list.
But this is not something you'll see in the pilot.
No,
so.
it won't be on the system. I think it's just going to be they're accepting it, but they're with a note that it's on a wait list, and they'll need to let the consumer know.
Okay. My other question is, in the client information, everything was left justified except for the household members and income. Is there a reason?
Let me see.
Because your eyes kind of get tuned into looking, down the column, and then it.
Oh, I see that. I didn't even notice. And it just computers do that because these are numbers and this is text. We can definitely change that. I'm sorry about that. Definitely.
No, that's okay.
That is very. I could see how that could be confusing. It looks like there's nothing here, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I have a question. This is Christina, ADL. If you accept a referral and then something happens, you're not able to take that referral, can you then turn around and reject that referral?
You can then close the referral, and yes, when you accept the referral, me try and go there. Yes, you're absolutely right. You can reject the referral at 2 different times. You can reject it immediately. I'm sorry. You can reject it over here under new referrals. You can reject it, and there's reject reasons. Also, when you go into the open referrals, there's a function when you're updating the status, and if I change the status to reject, it's basically the same as it's the next step. We save all the information all the actions that have been taken on a referral, so it'll show on that for that client on that referral that it was accepted at a certain date and then later rejected, and there's later reject reasons. Those are also different than these reject reasons, but yes, you can do that, and it'll go back to the referring agency and it'll say why.
Okay.
So basically, if you could close the referral there.
Mm-hmm.
If you've contacted the client and the client has come in and you're sitting with the client, it wouldn't make sense. I'm glad you brought that up. It would not make sense to reject the referral. You could simply close it and create them a new referral, because rejecting the referral basically puts that load back on that initial staff member, and maybe that staff member will never talk to the client again, or the staff member now has to then go call the client and maybe ask them if they're willing to, you know what I mean? If you're sitting with them, you might as well close it, and then instead of rejecting it later, you might as well close it and create a new one. And you have close reasons, just like these close reasons. You'll have the referral was closed because either the service was completed or we were over capacity, or there's a whole list of those. So you'll see that when you start really getting deeper.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so all I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how to create a referral one more time, because that's going to be, the bulk of the system is definitely your referral queue, managing your referrals in your referral queue, and making referrals. So I'm going to show you making a referral one more time, because we did at the beginning, and I'm not going to show you anything different, but you might notice different things now. So I'm just going to click transportation and medical transportation. Again, you can use your search criteria, search for keywords. You can search for an agency's name just by searching it, and you can even type in part of the agency's name. You can search for a county, all services within a zip code, etc. And again, there's more categories. You can scroll through the categories here. So currently I picked transportation, medical transportation, and I can see, whoops, sorry about that. I can see a whole list of services. I'm going to add them, and again, when I add these services, they always stay with me. Imagine a shopping cart on any kind of online store. So I'm going to add three services here. One of them is for Senior Services, Inc., Community Healthcare Connections, and Community Action. I can move to create my referral. I can, by clicking this button down here, or I can search for more services. And you can even, let me show you, I guess I should show you this briefly. We did not do this the first time on purpose, for good reason actually. There's a benefit screening. There's a key benefit screening in the tool. Now if you click this, if you find that if you want to go do deeper screening for your client, you will be taken to a different page where you can go through a whole screening. And the result of this screening will be you'll be provided with PDFs and links for other programs that you can apply for. So notice how I've left when I was searching my services, I left those 3 or 4 services that I had selected, and I can go further and define my screening. So you'll see this when the different part of that. But there's a lot of criteria, and there's like 3 or 4 pages to this screening, but I just wanted to show you briefly what that is. Now I'm going to go back to searching for services just to show you that we still have our services selected here. And if I go into my folder, my services are selected here, and it looks like somewhere along the way we picked up a client. So this is not the client we're sitting with, so I'm going to X that out. And from the folder, from basically a shopping cart type view, I can add a new client right here. or I can search for a client that's already in the system. So we added a Jones, and I think it's Ed Jones. Click search here. You'll see Edward Jones. Yep, that's him. I'm going to scroll further down. Client has agreed to share data, and we're going to submit the referral. So Edward Jones's information is now going to go to these 3 agencies, and I'm on the success. Your referral has been submitted, and I can print this. I can create a printable view, pretty PDF, or I can go back and do new referral and go back to basically the home page. So again, I am going to stop again for questions, and this time, obviously, ask questions for anything that's left. We are now at the end of the webinar, so anything that you're not sure of, now's the time to ask. The system was made pretty simple and straightforward, but no questions means that everyone's clear.
I do have one question. I'm wondering, for the clients under admin, I just wanted to double check. Does that include all clients, both clients you've created and referred out, as well as clients that you've received referrals for?
We have tossed that idea around back and forth a lot, and I think what we decided is for the pilot, everyone has access to see everything. We were brainstorming the idea of only seeing clients who you've touched, and I think if we open it up after the pilot, then that might be something that we will do. But currently, you can see any client that was made in the system. That's just for the pilot.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So we are going to be providing logins on the 6th. I think it was July 6th. That's the week after the holiday. And everyone is going to be receiving logins. If you are on this webinar and you are not the one that should be receiving a login, or someone else at your agency should be receiving a login, you can, when you receive your login, you can either create the staff member who should be receiving a login, and they will get an email. They can activate their account if they want to, or you can email us, email Larissa, and she will put the correct email address on the list. We just need the name and email and your agency name.
So currently,
hi, this is Kim Hughes from Adult Protective Services from Calhoun County.
Yep, go ahead, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much. We sent a question out. We're very excited about this program, but we will be in contact with clients in the field. How would we be accessible to this, the application or program as far as being downloaded? Because we don't take our laptops; they're too big.
Okay, so the application is web-based only. So you won't have an offline version of the system, not for the pilot, of course. You can, however, access the system from any mobile device, cell phones, if any smartphones, I should say. If you have flip phones or something like that, it's not going to work. But you said you don't have tablets, so it sounds like you would probably have to come up with some other type of protocol to take the client information and the services that they need, and then you don't have to be sitting with the client to log into the system, add them as a user, and find services that they need and refer them. And as long as you've captured the correct information, you can still sit back down at your desk when you are connected to the internet and go through the system and go through all the necessary steps.
Okay, because it will be downloaded on our iPhones, but however, our clients will not be able to see the iPhones, obviously. I mean, many of them don't have the vision to look at them and push OK or send. So basically, it'd be the same as just coming back to our office and doing what we've been doing as far as referral services.
Sure.
For adult protective services.
For the clients will not be, your clients will not, the system is not designed for your clients to use the system. The system is designed for your staff to use the system on behalf of your clients. So, there might be some, outside of the pilot. I know there's been some discussion on adding, the ability for any like a public interface for any client to just, to stumble upon the system, do a Google search and find it. But we haven't gotten to that part yet. So currently it's just for staff use and the agency use.
Okay.
And, I'm not sure, Kim, were you referring to that the clients will be able to sign off on that checkbox?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's something also for us to consider, whether it needs to be of a larger size.
Yeah.
Is that normally what you do for clients? You have them be the ones who check the box?
Oh, no, that's what we were assuming we had to do in this program, on this application, was have the client check that box.
Okay. As long as you have a verbal agreement with your client.
Okay.
I mean, the point of that checkbox is to kind of notify the user of the system and remind them that they need to ask the client that information. So we have some, we're going to have some more legal wording from Elm that we're going to put in there. You can use that wording, but basically checking that means that you have asked the client and they have agreed. They don't have to be the ones clicking the box.
Okay, thank you.
This is Ann. Can I ask one more question, please?
Absolutely.
Of course.
In the admin portion where we have to add all of our staff, you said that they don't have to log in, but we have to have all of the staff listed.
You only have to, okay, thank you. I'll clarify. The service, if you have staff members that are the primary contact for a service, that's the reason you'll have to add them to the system. You don't have to add staff members unless they are primary contacts for a particular service. Currently you can only add one staff member as a primary contact for each service. Every staff member that you add will receive an email telling them that they've been added to the system and they can activate their login, but they do not have to activate their login for the system to show their information. Anyone at your agency, there should be someone at your agency who is going to log in routinely to manage the referrals and accept referrals. And it should be the staff members who are the primary contacts. But currently everyone in the pilot program is considered administrators. So anyone at your agency can make or accept referrals to anyone else at your agency.
And I have a qualification to what Kia just said, but is there a concern or a reason for the question?
Well, I was just wondering if, so let's say I was the person responsible for the referral network, but I've assigned it to another staff member, let's say. I just wondered if it's a way that, from a management perspective, you could be sure that the referrals are being handled.
Yeah, so I mean, the best way would be to log in and, you know what, it sounds like, so we have some reports on the Elm side, and we'll move one of those reports over here, so that makes perfect sense. So what you'll be able to do is look at, you can run the report, and it'll just be for your agency, and you'll be able to see anything that was accepted, rejected, or created by anyone at your agency, and that will help you during the management of that.
I do also want to add, and this is not exactly related, it's not in direct response, but it's related to the question. There are agencies who, for the purposes of this pilot, they may have multiple individuals who are responsible for services in the organization, but it is not feasible to necessarily bring them all up to speed and engage them in the pilot. We are looking more for qualitative participation in the pilot and in providing feedback. So it might be that you and only engage 2 individuals at your organization who are listed as staff, even though, in fact, you have 5 different people who are really the direct contacts for the service. That we really leave it to your discretion in making a determination based on people's workloads, et cetera, and ability to provide quality feedback. We leave it to your discretion to who to engage and who to list as participating staff.
Okay, thank you.
That's for everybody on the call, too. We still have a few minutes left. Any additional questions? I have a question of the folks on the phone who have been listening to, has been engaged in the conversation from almost the beginning. Does seeing the system help you understand what's involved?
Yes.
Yes.
I know it seemed very kind of out there, and so now seeing it is going to be helpful. We are working on a number. We continue to work on it up until the time we launch it. So your feedback even now is helpful.
Yeah, we're going to have, I mean, you might notice some changes to the system. Obviously, we've received some awesome feedback today, some things that we're definitely going to add before you even receive logins, but they'll be very simple. Like, for instance, the report that I mentioned, we'll throw it under the admin. You don't see it now, but you'll see reports, and we'll have a list of reports there that you can run. It'll be very simple. I mean, there will be light touches. We also have a front-end designer who we're going to have review the tool once we're stopped adding things to it, and there might be, you know, a little facelift. You'll notice maybe some more colors. They'll be a little bit prettier. The functionality will remain the same. Some of the things that you didn't see today are notifications. They are in the system, and I kind of glanced over them, but it'll basically be a way to help you manage your referral queue. You'll see referrals that were rejected. The notifications will also tell you to update profiles if you're over capacity after a certain time or you're ignoring clients. There's also email notifications that are on different triggers. And again, we're testing a lot of stuff for the pilot. So we received some great, I mean, I have a half a page of feedback that I got today, which is awesome. Once you start using the system is when you'll really start to notice things. So do not hesitate to send me and Larissa a note about any feedback that you have at your agency, and all that. Everything will be considered for the next steps. So.
Do you have a format that you want the information, or if we run into a problem, do you have a format that you want that sent to you in?
Yes. What we're going to do is add there's going to be a feedback button that will. I don't think we'll have the feedback button before the pilot start, but before you receive your logins. But at some point throughout the pilot, you'll see a feedback button anywhere on the screen. If there's a bug, it'll force you to answer like 2 or 3 questions so we can easily identify it, and then you'll be able to write in notes of what specifically was going on. Currently, what we can do is we can send out an email when we're giving you your login to how to send us any feedback to follow this particular format. That's a perfect question, just to make sure we get all the information we need.
Okay.
We'll also work on spelling errors. I know there's some editors out there in you, and I appreciate that. And so functionality has been our primary focus, but we know that there's corrections both in spelling of names and in some of the services, et cetera. And we will work to refine that, and it will be still the same functionality, but it should be more complete.
Cool.
Great.
Excellent. Thank you all. We're reaching the conclusion of the web conference. Thank you so much. We'll still continue to receive. You received emails about this conference. If you have some other questions that you come to mind later, please feel free to email those. We will be sending out a guide that reinforces some of the information that you received as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, you or them? Oh, yeah. I have nothing to say to them if they want to hear. They don't want to hear what I have to say. Okay, who was bored and decided they want to try something new? Well, they started this. I went with Karen to Lansing for, they were going to try this ADRC. Uh-huh. That didn't fly. I tried using it. I mean, I used it. I tried to use it, but is it the same as that ESP, whatever thing? And that's the replacement. This is the replacement for that. I used that one. Sort of. Because that one, you didn't send referrals. You used the system. To look up stuff. And I could see that we might do that, but I don't think I will be doing for people to use us. So they're my bridges, they get over here.
Yeah, they're really helpful over there. You see my girl from Calhoun. Oh, we're really excited. We're excited live.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to you went to the meeting in Calhoun with Bonnie Hogaboom, didn't you? You and me and Lisa?
Oh, and Lisa, yeah, and when you left, before you left. They still have that, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so it was a beautiful sunny day. They even told us.
Yeah.
Alrighty. See you in a few.
Okay. That was fun and exciting.
That was so much fun. See, I had so much fun. I'm going to turn the light off. I don't know what that was about. I don't know.